once again for this program today. Primary focus for today is actually to take you through the Virtual Internship Program, which is a unique program, which can help you to understand various types of career paths which are possible. And this is a very practical way of experiencing that. So this is my mission. My mission is to positively impact 1 lakh plus students through scientific career guidance and long-term hand-holding process. Just to give a bit of a background about myself, I'm by education, I'm a mechanical engineer, followed by MBA and then PhD in management. And obviously, I've gone through several on-the-job training programs as well, nationally as well as internationally. And has have worked for about 22 years in the industry. So basically, I have the combination of both academic excellence and the industry expertise to give the right kind of advice to the students. These are some of the certifications which I have done to make sure that I'm authorized to give guidance to students and professionals. This is a gentleman, you might actually Google and find out about him. His name is Gerard Leonard. As per him, the world is going to see more changes in the next 10 years than the last 100 years. And this means actually the changes which is likely to happen between 2021 to 2030 compared to the previous 100 years. And a lot of it is actually panning out. I think in the last 2-3 years, we are seeing a lot of technological advances which is already happening. And that the pace of that is going to only increase. There's another gentleman, very famous writer, Yuval Noah Harari. I don't know that you heard about him. He's written quite a few interesting books. One of the books is called The 21 Lessons of the 21st Century. And in that specifically, he says that to remain relevant, for future, one needs to keep reinventing again and again. And I think this is a concept which is true for all of us actually. So basically, we all have to go through the process of learning, unlearning, learning new again, and unlearning, and that cycle has to continue. So students like you who are in 10th or 11th or 12th grade right now, once you are get over with your 12th grade, obviously you have to take up some undergraduate course, then possibly go on to do some postgraduate course as well. And possibly then you get into a job, but then job or a contract, depending on how things are. But that doesn't really mean that that's going to be the end of your study, I mean, end of your education path as well. I think continuous learning is something which is becoming norm now. By 2030, we all will be impacted, and I will explain you in the next slides how it is. These are the 9 elements of my career guidance method. Broadly speaking, there are 2 parts. One part is about learning. So basically, you should learn about what are the global trends, what are the 21st century skills. I think in IGCSE, the boards, of course, they do give a lot of emphasis to this. And what are the growing and declining trends in the world right now? So this is the learning part. And the next part is taking action. So in terms of taking action, what is required? You have to undergo some kind of self-assessment because every individual is unique, and hence the solution has to be very personalized. It cannot be general. So self-assessment is very important. Once the self-assessment is done, then choosing the right career path, right career in terms of what exactly you want to become, in terms of what is your future identity which you want to take up. Once that is decided, then deciding the education path is very easy. Yeah. And nowadays, I think overseas education has become quite common. I think most of the parents now can actually, afford to take up overseas education for their children. And so obviously this becomes a mandatory knowledge area and action area as well. And one-to-one coaching, obviously, you may have all the knowledge, but still we all need some kind of one-to-one coaching at some point of time. So this is also another. And to remain in a direction, it's also important to be part of a community. So which is why you have a community as well. So just to give an overview of what is the global trend. I mean, if you look at the world today, I think there are four top global trends. First and foremost is digitization. Secondly, it is decarbonization. Third is population growth and related health challenges along with that. And fourth is energy security. And I'll try to deal with each of them little more in the coming slides. As we speak, the world is about 7.9 billion people. And by 2030, it is estimated that we'll become about 8.5 billion people in this earth. And out of which around 1.4 billion people will become more than 60. Okay. And by that time, about 7.5 billion people, or which is approximately 90% of the population, will have some kind of internet connectivity. And by 2030, there'll be enormous amount of investment into renewable energy. So it's likely to be more than double than what it is today in the current rate. And we also know why the reason is like that. Okay. Why I'm talking about all this is because each of these areas will have a direct impact on what is that you as young children want to take up as your career goal. So as we speak, about 5.22 billion people have a unique phone number, unique phone connection right now, okay, out of approximately about 7.9 billion people. And about 4.66 billion people have a connection to internet. I mean, they can access data and things like that. And about 4.2 billion people are on the social media. So these are all data of 2021. And as we speak, I'm sure these numbers would have changed drastically as well. So this is an area which is only rapidly grow. And in the next slide, you will understand a little more about it. If you look at this chart, and in 2005, the internet users were about approximately 1 billion people, and today it is already at a level of about 5 billion. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, in about 8 years' time, it's likely to reach to 7.5 billion people. So these kind of exponential growth is there in the digitization and connectivity to internet. Another factor is by 2030, it is estimated that 24 billion devices will be connected and they will be working along with all of us. I mean, it is not about just the mobile connections, but also a lot of devices other than the mobiles, which are also going to be there. So all this will have a huge impact on future careers. Okay. Next is decarbonization and energy security. I think both are very complementing to each other. So just to give an idea about what is the conventional energy right now in the world, the amount of conventional energy is primarily coal and oil. So oil is likely to run out completely in about 53 years, natural gas in about 54 years, and coal in about 110 years at the current production rate. But obviously, this is not going to continue for such a long time. The reason being, each of these products are producing also a lot of carbon into this earth, and that is causing a lot of global warming. So these conventional energy may not be used for a very long time, though potentially they can last for another 50 to 100 years. And I think you must be hearing about the COP meetings which happen every year. The last meeting I think happened in Egypt, as I remember, COP 27. So in that most of the countries across the world are, joining together, trying to take action. I think these are the action plans from India. So India wants to generate non-fuel based energy capacity to level of 500 gigawatt by 2030, and by about 50% of a country's energy requirement it has to be through renewable energy by 2030, to reduce the carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030. These are all bold goals by India, and to become a carbon neutral country by 2070. So again, all these will have direct impact on the careers of the future. Now coming to population growth. If you look at this chart, very interesting chart, and in the colorful chart, what you see on the right-hand side here, you'll see all those blue and maroon and other colors. All the dark colors, what you see on this chart is basically the countries where the population is actually degrowing, and at the same time, they are also aging. So which means that all these countries, one is they are aging. I mean, their average ages, median ages are going up and up, and they are producing less and less, which means that they are not replacing with new population anymore. So, but if you look at Africa, most part of Southeast Asia, India, all these countries are going to remain young for a long period of time, at least for next 30-40 years. So which means that young children from these countries, African countries, Asian countries, Indians, they will travel across the world, and possibly some of them also will immigrate to the rest of the world, because the opportunities are there in those countries, because young people will be invited to those countries to contribute in these countries. So this is going to be a huge impact in the way all of your careers are going to pan out in the coming decades.
Okay.
Now coming to specific Indian story, if you look at this chart, so children who are born between 1997 to 2011, this cohort is about 37 crore in India. And each of this group is about 4 years each. I mean, 97 to 2001, 2002 to 2006, 2007 to 2011. Each of this is a 4-year gap. And each of this cohort is about 12.6 crore. You can see this in chart. So some of these people have already got into the professional career. Some of them are in higher education. Some of them, like you, are in higher secondary education. Some of them are in high school, and rest of them are in high school and mid schools. So this cohort, which is about 37 crore, is known to be the economic, or rather the demographic dividend of India. But the kind of competition all of you are going to get amongst this cohort is also going to be huge. So which means that you cannot depend heavily only on the Indian opportunity. Probably you might have to look at global opportunities for your careers as well. As I mentioned earlier, world is going to add about 1 billion people between now and 2050. So which means that basic human needs like food, clothes, home, health, education, environment, entertainment, transportation, communication, energy security, all these are going to be even more important, right? I mean, as you increase population, you need all these basic needs. So as young people like yourselves and cohorts of yourself, what you need to understand is that the world needs all these solutions. Through your skill, through your education, through your communication and other people's skills, are you able to bring something which can help the world to get solutions for these challenges, which is already there and it is only going to increase. Okay. So for children like you have to understand what is the global requirement and how you can play that role in providing the solution for that. Okay. And that is how you can build a very good career for yourself. Another thing which is coming, I think, many of you might be also reading newspaper and other articles or the YouTube channel. So automation is there, and it is going to increase as we speak. So whichever repetitive and jobs which can be easily automated will be automated. So there is an estimate by 2025, not very far. A lot of countries who have participated in this particular survey are actually planning to automate nearly 50% of their repetitive, predictive jobs through automation. So this is a reality of today. I think young children like yourselves, I think, have to understand that automation will come. What we need to look at is try to build our skills, which is beyond the automation. So our human skills are going to be more important than the skills which can be easily repeatable or which can be easily automated by machines. Another important thing which you have to understand is that in the world, there will be, obviously, there are certain types of jobs which will increase. There's certain types of job which will be decreasing. And there's as I see, I mean, my own prediction is that a lot of young children who are in the school right now, school or high school right now, by the time they come into the job market, there may not be many permanent jobs actually, but there'll be plenty number of skillful contracts. So the traditional jobs will be replaced by contracts, professional contracts. So which means that if you're good at something technically and you are able to sell that skill to your customers who can be many. I mean, you could be actually taking up contracts across the globe, and which is why I think today there is an importance of building a career, building a skill which is actually very close to your own strengths. So you have to understand the difference between jobs and contracts. You have to learn how to manage multiple number of contracts. And if you are into professional contracts, then you have to also learn how to do multiple number of contracts, because you cannot be only depending on one contract at a time. You might have to handle multiple number of contracts at the same time. So how to plan for this future, which is already here? I think the future is already here, right here, because a lot of its trends are actually happening right now. So one of the very assured way to do is that try to build your skills, and those skills are basically based on your abilities, your professional skills, your advanced skill, and so on and so forth. So very strong focus on skills and skill development. Be open-minded, because whatever has happened in the last 1 decade or 2 decade may not be relevant anymore. Actually, the new decade actually demands something new. So it is not about the students alone, but I think all the teachers and parents, whoever are there today on this call, they have to understand that the old way of doing things are not going to help. You have to be open towards new things, and be a part of a community, because what happens is when you are trying to do something, when you're trying to learn something, it is very important to understand that uh, there's a good metaphor which I put it here. So if you want to walk fast, walk alone, because I think then if you're walking fast, others may try to reduce your speed. But if you want to walk for a long distance, then be part of a community, because at some point of time, it is possible that you may get demotivated or derailed in your direction. So it's good to be part of a community. Okay, now coming to the skills, I think the theme of today's meeting. Um, so why this program is so important? The reason being that there are so many new kind of career opportunities which are coming up, and there are so many options which are available. So as students, as parents, as teachers, there is a possibility to look at different types of opportunities which are there before really jumping into doing what is going to be your next 30, 40 years. Just imagine whatever you're going to focus and learn today, you have to marry with that for next 30, 40 years. So you better love to do that so that you can be happy for next 30, 40 years. Otherwise, you will repent. Okay. So what is the benefit in this? It's basically, it's a practical experience. It's hands-on practical experience. And it is given as a real life situation. The program is designed like that. Okay. And there's a detailed VIP report which is given to you after the participation is done as to how you have done it. Then all the modules have been created by industry experts. So each of them are specialized in their own areas. So they have created these modules. And the best part is these are all available online. Okay, so you can access these programs at the comfort of your home at any time of your convenience, right? So there's no restriction. These are all customized to your needs. So what are the options available? I mean, of course, there are right now about 36 different types of modules which are available. So first is hospitality, which is basically dealing with hotel, restaurant, and this person, Roshan Shetty, is the person who is actually guiding in this particular module. Next is about law. Under that, corporate law, criminal law, and counseling. So Prem Rajni is the person who is taking up this thing. Filmmaking, under that, direction, cinematography, editing. So this is the program which is done by this gentleman called Howard Rosemere. This is the person who is actually handling this module. Okay. Then dentistry, again, a specialist from that particular field. Architecture, Arjun Rati. Fund management, again, somebody who is from that particular domain. Marketing, fashion design, graphic design. Each of these programs have been curated, made using the specialist in each of the domains. Chartered accountancy, computer engineering, psychology, family business. Somebody who has already a family business want to learn something more in terms of how to manage. Ethical hacking, I think the way internet is exploding, I think this is a wonderful career option for the future. Medicine, yes, as I mentioned, 1.4 billion people will become more than 60 by 2030. So just imagine the amount of people who will need health support in the future. So medicine is a wonderful area, and all related subject of medicine as well. Mechanical engineering is going to be a core engineering subject which will remain very, very famous, popular for a very long time, because despite all the technology, IT, you still have to create physical things. So basic engineering subjects like mechanical engineering, civil engineering, those kind of basic engineering, electrical engineering, those basic engineering will remain always in demand. Teaching, I think, to the kind of people we are adding across African nations, Asian nations, and rest of India, you need a lot of, I mean, there are so many young people who are getting born. So you need a lot of people who are going to be involved in teaching. Civil services, again, it is becoming more and more popular as we go along. A lot of young people now in India are aspiring to take up civil services. So another interesting area. Startup, a lot of young children like you who have a brilliant idea. They want to do something with their idea. So this is an excellent course again. Digital marketing, I think with the internet, mobile connectivity, I think this is one very interesting area. Pilot, I don't know how much you have been tracking, but India is one of the most happening place in terms of aviation industry. Very recently, Air
Yeah.
India ordered around 470 planes, both on
Yeah.
Airbus and Boeing. And apart from that, Indigo has some 500 orders, pending orders. So in the next
Yeah, I
8 to
heard
10
about it.
years, 1,000 planes will land in India, and they will
Yes.
explode the aviation industry, not just for India, but across the globe. I think
And
pilot,
actually, I'm planning to become a pilot. So,
fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So
yes.
it's a wonderful career to take up actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Data science, I mean, user interface design, sports management, again, a very futuristic area. Not many people understand about this so well. So it's a very
Mm.
good area which will only grow from now on.
Yeah.
Advertising, always a ever charming field. Interior design, I think a lot of our houses are now designed by interior design specialists.
Yeah.
Journalism, I think today the people are not consuming a lot of TV news, but rather a lot of news channels are now there on YouTube, which is free. So this is exploding the journalism which we knew earlier. So again a very wonderful area of growth coming in future. Venture capitalist, again a very traditional area, but I think will continue to grow as more and more people are coming out with startups. Aeronautical
Yes.
engineering, I think along with aviation, aeronautical is rightly connected. um, I think influencing influencers, this is a new concept, but this is something which is exploding because of YouTube and other social media channels as well.
Mm.
And this is going to grow because I think just after Google, the largest search engine is YouTube, and that will
Yes.
explode as we go along. So these are some of the wonderful modules which are there, which anybody can experience. Music production, public relationship. So many options are available, which each of them have wonderful options in terms of exploring each of these careers, and that too from the comfort of your home. So it's a great way
Mm.
to learn about this particular domain, and it is possible that some of you may try and not like it. And then it is actually much cheaper to try 4 or 5 different options at an
Yeah.
early age, rather than getting into a particular line and then repenting and being there for next 20, 30, 40 years without being happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's broadly about this. So as I mentioned, it's better to not take guidance, because I think today information availability is not the problem. The problem is actually how to structure it and how to I mean, what is available is a lot of data, and structuring that data is what is required, and which is why I think mentoring is a very important key factor in today's guidance process. Okay.
Mm.
So these are some of my mentees who have gone through my guidance process so far. So of course, you are welcome to join my community. There's a India Career Center, which is there on Facebook. Got a YouTube channel, which is there. You can follow that as well.
Okay.
Um, you can follow me on the LinkedIn as well. And yeah, I mean, so welcome to any kind of questions you have. That's the presentation I have for today. I know some of you joined little late, so if you don't mind, you can unmute and speak from where you joined, and whether you found anything relevant for yourself, for your children, or for your, if you're a teacher, for your students.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm actually a principal in DAV Public School, sir. And
Okay, fantastic.
so I found it interesting. I said, let me also know something because we are also learners.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it is very beneficial, I found, because awareness has to be created. Most of them do not know many things.
Correct.
So the topic was very interesting. I said, let me also join and listen what I
And if
can.
you wish to conduct a dedicated program for your school, I can do the same module again with all your school parents and teachers and students as well.
So we can have a session somewhere in the month of April, so
Sure.
that let the teachers also learn something. And it's really, it would be very nice that if you share all your
Sure, sure.
expectation with the teachers, and if parents, whoever wants to join, may join. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
great.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello.
I'm Nandini. I'm from Oman.
Okay, great.
Actually, I'm a teacher as well as I'm teaching in Indian school Vadikabir. Actually, I wanted to know for my children. So, as a parent, my daughter actually she is doing she's in commerce field. So I wanted to know what further can be done. She's doing she has finished her BCom and she is doing this one supply chain logistics and supply chain management in Loyola College, Chennai.
Okay.
So I wanted to know what further she can do.
She can take up a supply chain post-graduation course. That's a very good area, fantastic area to be because I think you know the Amazons and the other things which are already there.
Yes,
They
yes.
are going to only need more and more of supply chain professionals as we go along. So
Yeah,
it's a
she's
fantastic
actually
area.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, madam.
I'm the co-scholastic coordinator at Gwalior Glory High School, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
Sir, I had a query.
Yeah.
That what is a bifurcation of the days for the modules, or is it that whoever enrolls for the sessions has to pick and choose from the various options available? What is going to be the timing for the session? The
Yeah.
nitty-gritty, sir.
So you're talking about the internship program, right?
Exactly, sir.
Okay. So it is anybody who is interested to pick up, they can pick up one or two or three, multiple also. So each module is separate and each module has a specific duration. I think normally it can be covered easily if somebody invests about 30 minutes to 1 hour every day. They can easily cover this program in 1 week. So during the summer break, it's an ideal thing, especially children who are in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. This is a very ideal program to engage themselves during this summer. Try to do at least one or two modules of this, depending on what is the interest area. And the best part is you can do it at your pace. I mean, ideally, you can easily complete it in 1 week. But it is possible that some children may complete it in 2 days or 3 days. Some children may take 10 days. But the module quantity is almost same. It is not very different. The pricing is also same. It is not different. It all depends on what is the interest area for the child. Thank you. Thank you then.